Morning light spilled over the marble foyer like warm milk. The scent of lemon polish floated in the air. Footsteps echoed, soft, hesitant. Sophia clutched her tote bag and looked up at the chandelier as if it were a sky full of frozen stars. "First day?" the janitor asked, wheeling a mop bucket that squeaked with every turn. He wore a faded cap, a plain gray shirt, calm eyes that noticed everything. "Yes," Sophia said, smiling. "I'm Sophia." "John," he said. "Welcome to the Hale house." He didn't say he was Robert Hale, the billionaire who owned half the city's skyline. Today, he was John, the janitor. A test in plain clothes. He'd been burned before. Stolen jewelry. Careless staff. A maid who left his son alone during a meltdown. Trust had become a locked room. "Kitchen's this way," Emma, the house manager, clipped. "Sharp heels. Sharper tone. Breakfast is precise. Don't touch the master's espresso machine." Sophia nodded. Understood. A small figure appeared at the archway. Brown hair falling over his forehead. Hands flapping, fingers fluttering like small birds. Michael, 11. Robert's son. His blue headphones sat crooked on his head. Sophia froze, but only for a breath. "Hi, Michael," she said softly, lowering herself to his eye level. "I'm Sophia." He didn't look at her eyes. He watched the light tremble on the floor tiles as if it were a secret map. He rocked once, twice. The kitchen clanged behind them. Plates. Metal. Too loud. "Michael eats pancakes," Emma announced. "He likes the edges crisp." Michael flinched at the word edges. He pressed his palms to his ears. Sophia set her tote down. "Do you have a quieter pan? And maybe dimmer lights?" Emma stared. "We've run this house for years. Maybe we can make it kinder today," Sophia said, voice like a soft blanket. John watched, saying nothing. His jaw tightened. He'd seen pity before. He hated it. But Sophia's tone wasn't pity. It was steady, present, like a lighthouse. The stovetop hissed. A blender word for a smoothie. Michael's breath shortened. His fingers stiffened. Sophia moved, gentle and exact. She put a dish towel under the blender to mute the vibrations. She reached for the light switch and lowered the brightness. She set a spoon on the counter and tapped a slow rhythm. Tap, tap, tap. Michael's eyes flicked to the spoon. His breathing followed the beat. 1, 2, 3. A tiny pause gathered between them. "Okay," she whispered. "We're here." Emma rolled her eyes. "We're late." Sophia plated pancakes, soft centers, safe edges. She slid the plate in front of Michael without pushing it toward him. No sudden movement. No chatter. Just space. He sniffed the pancakes, leaned in, and took a small bite. The smallest smile. Barely there. John felt something shift under his ribs. A door unstuck. Much later, while sweeping the back corridor, he found Sophia kneeling to wipe a spill that wasn't hers. She hummed a tune so low it was almost silence. "Long day?" he asked. "Good day," she said. He ate. "Is that all it takes?" She met his eyes. "Some days, yes." A breeze slipped through the open terrace and whispered across the marble. For a moment, the whole house held its breath. John set the broom aside. "Tomorrow, the schedule changes. Construction noise upstairs." Sophia nodded once. "I'll bring something to help." Something to help? With what? With whom? He watched her walk away, tote bag pressed to her side, shoulders square. He told himself he was only observing, only testing, only protecting. But whose heart was on trial? When the drills screamed the next morning, the house would learn what Sophia kept hidden in that worn tote, and John would see his son in a way he never had. "Are you ready to see it too?" The hammering started at 9:06 a.m. sharp. Unforgiving. The air shook. The window glass hummed. Michael was in the sunroom, lining up toy trains with clinical precision. Blue, red, green. Wheels must face east. Couplers must kiss. Any error would be a storm. The first drill shrieked. Michael jerked like he'd been struck. The blue train flew. His breath came too fast. A keening sound rose in his throat. He slid off the chair and crawled beneath the table, curling against the leg as if trying to vanish into wood. Emma flailed. "Turn it off. Turn it off. It's the contractor," someone muttered. "Can't." John dropped the mop. He remembered the last time. A therapist who barked orders. A housemaid who said, "He just needs to learn." He remembered Michael's fists pounding his own knees, desperate to escape himself. Robert had broken a glass that day. He'd broken something inside, too. Sophia was already moving. She didn't rush. She lowered herself onto the floor, knees touching tile, palms open. The drill screamed again. She flinched, but her voice didn't. "Michael," she breathed. "I hear it too." She slid her tote forward. Out came soft, squishy ear covers. Not the bulky headphones he hated, the ones that pinched. These were gentle. Navy blue. Pillowy. "May I?" she asked and then waited. Michael rocked. Rock. Rock. He peeked at the navy blue. "Your choice," she said. She tapped the floor with the spoon. Slow. Predictable. 1, 2, 3. She hummed under the sound, a low river of notes. The drill bit the wall again. Michael's hands shot up. He grabbed the ear covers and slammed them on. The world softened. Sophia exhaled. Good. Good. A small, laminated card slid from her tote. A picture of a room with dim lights and a blanket fort. The word safe on the bottom. Simple. Clear. She placed it at the edge of the table. This. Michael's gaze stuck to safe. His fingers touched the corner of the card. He nod-rocked. "Okay." She tugged the tablecloth down one side to make a small tent. She tucked herself halfway beneath it, leaving space, letting him choose. He inched closer. John edged nearer, breath tight. It felt wrong to stand. It felt sacred to kneel. Sophia didn't touch Michael. Not until he pressed his palm to hers, once, asking. Only then she gave gentle pressure, hand to palm, counting with the spoon's tap. 1, 2, 3. Release. The cry faded. The rock slowed. Silence pressed its cool cheek to the room. Sophia whispered, "Want trains?" She held up a picture of a blue engine. Michael's eyes brightened. He reached. She rolled the train toward him, slow as tide. The drill screamed again. Michael flinched, then found her hand. Tap, tap, tap. 1, 2, 3. John felt tears burn hot and angry at the past. At himself. At the world that had asked his son to be smaller. Quieter. Different. Emma stared, arms loose now, eyes wide, mascara trembling. Sophia took a breath. "We'll make a quiet corner for him. If that's okay." Emma nodded before words would come. John swallowed. "Where did you learn that?" Sophia glanced down. "My brother," she said simply. "We built safe corners everywhere. Laundry rooms. Church basements. Bus stops." He liked the rhythm of coins tapping. It helped him count his breath. "Is he gone?" she replied. "But he left me his rhythms." The drill stopped. The house sighed. Sophia began to pack her tote. Inside were more cards. Textures. A roll of painter's tape. A small weighted scarf the color of dusk. John stared at her hands. Capable. Kind. He thought he was studying her. He realized he was learning his own son. As the quiet returned, John would find something in Sophia's bag that changed everything he believed about motives, and about mercy. "What do you think it was?" If stories of quiet kindness matter to you, and you want more chapters like this, tap subscribe and turn on the bell so you don't miss the next part. Your one click helps this kind of gentleness reach someone who needs it today. Blue Heart. Rain came in the afternoon, the gentle kind that makes leaves shine. The house settled into its wealthy hush, espresso hissing, a clock's patient tick, the distant purr of a generator that never failed. John found Sophia in the staff pantry, alone at the small table, her tote open. She was rewiring a toy train with a paperclip and tape, tongue pressed to her lip in concentration. He cleared his throat. "You fix a lot of things." "I try," she said. "Sometimes it's the small broken thing that makes the big day difficult." A composition notebook lay beside her. Frayed spine. The cover was decorated with stickers, a blue train, a moon, a cartoon cat. On the first page, in blocky letters, Michael's plan. His breath snagged. "You wrote that." "I started it last night after Emma's email," she said, cheeks coloring. "Just ideas. Routines. Gentle steps. A map of calm. It helps me listen." "May I?" he asked. She hesitated, then slid it over. He flipped through pages filled with hand-drawn icons. Lights. Spoon tap 1, 2, 3. Water break. Choice. Train/book/walk. Notes in the margins. Wait 10 seconds before repeating. Don't move the blue engine. Ask. Don't push. Always give a way to say no. He touched those last words. Always give a way to say no. The page after that made his throat close. Michael's voices, a list of tiny signals. Toe wiggle equals unsure. Shoulders rise equals overwhelmed. Hand to cheek equals wants pressure. Look to door equals needs space. No one had told him his son had so many voices. Sophia cleared her throat. "If I've overstepped." "You haven't," he said too quickly, too rough. Then gentler. "You haven't." She smiled, small and real. "I'm not a therapist. I just watched my brother not be heard. I promised him I'd never miss a whisper again." "What was his name?" "Michael would like it," she said. "Robert." He blinked. "Robert." She nodded, eyes bright. "He loved the sound of my name when I said it near a window." Said the wind made it warm. A silence opened between them. It wasn't empty. It was full of trains and spoons and a rain-soaked promise. From the doorway, a soft voice. Soft. They spun. Michael stood there, feet bare, hair damp from the garden mist. He touched his chest. So. He reached for the notebook, finger landing on the blue train sticker. "Sofa." Sophia laughed through tears. "Close." "Sophia." Michael's mouth shaped the word once more. "Sof, yeah." The laugh became a sob she swallowed back into a smile. "Hi." John felt dizzy. He had never chased speech like a trophy. He had only begged for understanding. And here it was, arriving without force. Without bribes. Without a bargain with pain. "Train," Michael whispered, tapping the sticker. He held out his hand, palm up, asking. Sophia placed the fixed blue engine into his hand. "Go on," she murmured. "You know the way." He grinned, a flash, bright as lightning, then darted into the hall, the wheels clicking like tiny applause. A shadow crossed the doorway. Emma. Her lips thinned. "Mr. Hale will not like staff interfering." John straightened. "Maybe he will," he said. Emma's eyes narrowed at him. "You're just the janitor." He held her gaze until hers flinched away. He'd pretend a little longer. One more test. One more truth. He turned back to Sophia, voice low. "What do you want, really? This can't be about a maid's salary." Sophia folded the weighted scarf. "I want a quiet room for him. And clean labels in the kitchen. And a softer doorbell. I want dignity in the details. And for you." She shrugged. A chance to take the certification exam. I can't afford it yet. But I study. He looked at the notebook again. At the bravery of it. At the love. He nodded. When smoke curled from the kitchen and the alarm howled, John watched Sophia do one small, radical thing that he'd never seen any professional do, and it would alter the course of all their lives. What do you think she did? The soup scorched. It happens, even in mansions. A thin ribbon of smoke rose from the pot. The alarm leapt alive, a wolf's howl in metal skin. Michael's body snapped into flight. Hands to ears. Eyes wide with the old fear. Sophia moved like she'd rehearsed it forever. She didn't grab him. She didn't shout over the sound. She dropped to his height and lifted her hands where he could see them. She traced a big circle in the air, then a small one, big noise, small noise, and pointed toward the laundry room. Option, she said, and held up 2 cards. Laundry room. Outside porch. Michael trembled. He grabbed laundry room. Good choice, she said. Let's go. They hurried down the hall. Behind them, Emma flapped at the stove and a cook swore softly. John ran ahead, cracked the laundry door, and flicked off the harsh overhead light. He turned on the small lamp, let the dryer hum. A deep, even vibration filled the space, a sound made of blankets and rain. Michael hovered at the threshold, shaking. Sophia stood just inside, leaving the doorway open. You decide, she said. Michael stepped in. The hum held him like a steady hand. He pressed his back against the washer. Sophia laid the weighted scarf across his shoulders, slow as dusk falling. Okay. Michael nodded. Tap, she asked. He placed her spoon in her palm. She tapped the side of the washer instead of his skin. 1, 2, 3. The vibration answered. His breathing lined up with the hum. And then she did the thing that ripped John open. She taught Michael to push her away. Say no, she whispered. If you don't want me near. She offered her hand. Michael studied it, then pressed it gently aside. She smiled like he'd scored a goal. Good no. He did it again. Firmer. She cheered in a whisper. Great no. Tears slid hot down John's face. How many times had he watched professionals teach compliance, teach quiet hands, teach folding into smallness? How few had taught his boy to be sovereign in his own skin? The alarm cut. Smoke drifted like a bad memory toward the ceiling vents. The house exhaled. Sophia lifted the scarf. Walk. Michael nodded. He slipped his hand into hers, then, remembering, paused, pushed her hand away, and held out his elbow instead. A boundary. A bridge. She looped her fingers lightly around his sleeve. Perfect. They stepped into the hall. Emma stood waiting, eyes shiny. Is he all right? He told me no, Sophia said, proud. And that was yes. Emma's mouth opened, then closed. Something in her posture softened. The master will want to thank her. John finished, voice steady, hat brim low. Maybe he should ask how to help. Emma's eyes darted from the janitor to the boy to the woman with the spoon. Maybe, she said, and her voice didn't have edges anymore. Later, at the service gate, Sophia tightened her tote strap. Her shift was over. Rain darkened the gravel, made it smell like earth and coins. John hurried after her. Wait. She turned. Yes. He took off the cap. The gray shirt, the plainness, fell away with the gesture. He stood straighter, the truth unavoidable in his face. I'm Robert Hale, he said. Wind stirred the trees. Somewhere in the house a clock ticked louder than time. Sophia's fingers tightened on the strap. I guessed, she said softly. When you cried in the laundry room. I'm sorry, he said. The words were heavy, but worth their weight. For testing you. For doubting you. For not knowing my own son like you do. She shook her head. You know him. You just needed someone to translate. He nodded once, then twice. He swallowed 1,000 defenses. "Dinner," he said, awkward. "Please. As my guest." "I'm staff," she said, a little smile at the corner of her mouth. "You are the first person today who told my son he could say no," he replied. "Please say yes." At dinner, Robert would place a decision on the table beside the salt shaker, one that could turn Sophia's quiet courage into a lighthouse for many more children. Would she accept? They ate in the kitchen, not the dining hall. The big room felt smaller, warmer. The alarm smell had faded, replaced by garlic and butter and rain on the terrace stones. Michael sat at the end of the table, building a short track from napkin rings. When a ring rolled too far, he watched it spin and didn't chase it. He looked up at Sophia. Tap, tap, tap. She answered with the spoon on the table's edge, a soft metronome for a gentle night. Robert, no longer John, cleared his throat. "I have questions," he said. Sophia nodded. "I have boundaries," she said, kind but firm. He smiled, wincing at his old self. "Good." He slid a folder across the table. In it, a printed plan with an architect's stamp. Sketches of a room with soft walls and adjustable lights. A small water wall. A shelf with sensory bins. A chair that hugged. A sign on the door. "Quiet is a place, not a demand." "I had them draw this an hour ago," he said. "We'll build it by the garden. For Michael. For any child who visits. For staff who need a breath." Sophia traced the outline of the water wall with a fingertip, eyes shining. "It's beautiful. And this," he added, placing a second paper beside the first. "A full scholarship fund for the certification exam you want. For you. For 10 others this year. Next year, more. A training program, here and citywide. You lead it. You hire who you trust." Her breath caught. "Mr. Hale." "Robert," he said. "Robert," she corrected, and it was a soft victory in itself. "I'm a maid. I don't have." "You have what my son needs," he said simply. "And what his city needs. You taught him to say no. You taught me to listen. Let me build the walls. You build the welcome." She looked at Michael. He rolled the blue engine toward her, then tapped the picture card that said safe. He pressed it against her wrist, as if pinning a medal. Sophia closed her eyes for a quiet second. Her brother's name moved through her like a tide. Robert. She felt him everywhere there was rhythm. "Yes," she whispered. "But we do it our way. No forced compliance. No shaming. Choice first. Dignity in the details." "Deal," Robert said. Emma hovered at the doorway, a tea towel in her hands. "I'll label the kitchen shelves tonight," she blurted, as if confessing a relief. I want to help." "Thank you," Sophia smiled. Michael stood. He came close to Robert, closer than he usually came. He lifted Robert's hand and placed it on the table, palm up. Then he pressed it aside, gently, before sliding a napkin ring into Robert's palm like a coin. "No?" Robert asked, half laughing through tears. Michael shook his head. Then he threaded the napkin ring onto a line of them and squeezed Robert's elbow, the bridge he'd allowed. Robert's voice turned quiet. "Safe," he said, as if the word were a candle you shouldn't blow too hard. "We'll make more of that." Night laid its velvet over the garden. The rain stopped. The world smelled clean. Somewhere in the house, a new room was being born in the mind of a builder. Sophia gathered her tote. She slid the spoon into its pocket. She touched the composition notebook and left it on the counter, open to a page titled Tomorrow. "What's tomorrow?" Robert asked. Sophia grinned. "We teach him, yes." She looked straight at you, the audience, just for a second. Did you feel the moment the house changed? The exact second a test turned into a trust. The camera, the eye, held on her face. A silent moment. A spoon tap. 1, 2, 3. Michael traced his finger along the blue engine's roof, then pressed it to his chest. He didn't speak. He didn't have to. His smile was a whole paragraph. Robert looked smaller and larger at once. A man who had built towers. A father learning a language without words. He whispered, more to himself than anyone. Sometimes we disguise ourselves to test others, and discover the disguise was ours to remove. Outside, the wind moved the trees. Inside, the quiet room existed already. In their hands, in their choices, in the space Sophia kept making. What's one small, specific change, a softer light, a slower rhythm, a kinder pause, you think makes a home feel safer for a child, or for you? Share your idea below. Your detail might become someone else's doorway to calm.